everyone to the second episode of our webinar series, Traditional to Digital, A Journey Through Signatures. In the previous episode, we took a trip down the memory lane in exploring the evolution of signatures from traditional signing to digital signing. I'm Malisha, your host for this episode. Let's get started. Today, we will be continuing our journey in exploring the digital signature world. But before we do so, let me introduce to the superhero of our episode today, which is Sign, the digital signature platform of Anadoc, all the way from Sri Lanka. Sign is just not a digital signature platform, but it's a game changer in the world of document signing. And why? Because it can offer you a super user-friendly interface, advanced encryption, and of course, compliance with the industry standards. You may be a large business owner, or an SME owner, or even an individual. Sign is here to revolutionize the way you sign documents into a much more simpler, secure, and a smarter one. So as we embark on this journey today, just keep Sign in your mind as a solution that brings life to every single aspect that we will be discussing in this episode to life. So as you now know, digital signatures are more than just a convenient way to sign documents. It of course represents a very secure and efficient solution for both businesses and individuals. And today we will be diving deeper into the values, legality and compliance of digital signature platforms and also Sign. As you now know, digital signatures are more than just a convenient way to sign documents because they represent a very secure and efficient solution for both businesses and individuals. So today, we will be diving deeper into the values, legality and compliances of digital signature platform. So to help us navigate through this legal landscape, we have a special guest with us in this episode today who will guide us and enlighten us with a lot of insights on how legality and compliance works when it comes to digital signature platform. But first, let me introduce her. Welcome Lahirini to the episode today. Lahirini is our legal officer who is going to give us a lot of insights on this concept of legality and compliance when it comes to digital signatures. Welcome to the episode, Lahirini.
Thank you, Malisha. I'm delighted to be here talking about legality and compliance aspects of e-signatures.
Great. So, Lahirini, before we dive into the subject today in this episode of ours, why don't you go ahead and let our audience know a little bit about your background?
I'm an attorney at law with over 7 years of experience in the tax and legal field, and I have done my own research on e-signatures, its legality and its impact on businesses.
Great. So we do have the right person in the episode today. So I think, Lahirini, about the insights that you are going to share with us today, it will of course give a lot of answers to most of the questions that our audience have been asking about, especially when it comes to legality and the compliance of digital signatures. And also, as you know, Anadoc has its own digital signature platform, which is Sign, and we do have a number of clients who are using currently the platform. And they also have asked us this same questions, which we have given them the answer. But today, we will be diving deep into this subject so that them and also our audience can get a lot of insight on this specific subject. So Lahirini, I think it's time that we get started on all of the questionnaires that you have in this episode today. So the first question to you is, what do you think are these legal values when it comes to digital signature platform, especially when it comes to authenticity and integrity? So before you go ahead and give your legal expertise advice on those two subjects, I can give you my kind of understanding when it comes to the integrity and authentication of digital signature platform. So I think authentication is making sure that the person to whom we are sending the document is exactly the person who is signing the document as well. And at the same time, integrity is making sure that throughout the signing process, the document has not been tampered or been altered. So that making the entire process secure and also legally compliant. So what is your advice on this?
Exactly, Malaysia. So we all know nowadays we are in a digital era, and most of the transactions are happening in virtual spaces. Therefore, it is crucial that we identify e-signatures electronically, and most of the countries have already done their part and have drafted laws in recognizing e-signatures.
Yes.
And these laws have set different principles in recognizing e-signatures, and these principles will at the end will boil down to two major principles, which are integrity and authenticity, as you correctly mentioned. And authenticity means when we are getting a third party assurance or contractual assurance on the identity of the signatory, and integrity is when someone has signed a document, it has not been tampered with or has not altered later on.
Right, great explanation, Lahirini. Thank you for that. So, moving on to our second question, since you have explained us the legal values that digital signatures are holding, could you go ahead and give us some real world examples or maybe even brief use cases where digital signatures have played a pivotal role, especially when it comes to legality and compliance?
Exactly, Malaysia. Being in the field, I come across many corporates that use e-signatures in executing their agreements. I think this is because now the legal background is set to recognize e-signatures legally, and e-signatures serve as a legally binding proof of consent and commitment of the signatory. E-signatures, in addition, is a secure method of executing agreements, and also it will reduce the disputes and fraud that could happen if we use paper-based agreements instead. Giving you another example, Malaysia, I think e-signatures would be instrumental in healthcare industry as well.
Oh, healthcare.
Exactly,
Okay.
because it could be used as a method of protecting confidentiality of patient records.
Oh, wow.
And also the healthcare professionals can use e-signatures in their treatment plans, in signing prescriptions, and keeping their medical records securely. So that's another instance. Going into the government sector, Malaysia, I have personally experienced the Registrar of Companies in Sri Lanka recognizing e-signatures in the company forms, and they also enable companies to file the forms electronically. So that's actually a good move. It has personally also helped me when our directors are abroad or when we have foreign directors in our companies. So basically, I would say signatures have made our lives better.
Oh, that's great examples and very fascinating of all the sectors that you just mentioned, especially when it comes to healthcare and your personal experience and of course the government. I think digital signatures is almost there everywhere now, and people need a little bit of a more awareness to implement it in more better ways. So as you said now, that especially when the board of directors are abroad, you can't like ask them to come back to the country and for just signing a paper, right?
Or
and
we have
that'll-
to courier it.
Exactly, or we have to courier it. So those will take time and of course money, which is something that we also spoke about in our first episode as well. So taking of all of these into consideration, we do understand that digital signatures, especially with their legality and the compliance factors, they are playing a pivotal role in so many sectors today. So with that, I'll ask you the next question, Lahirini. Since you mentioned that all of these sectors are using digital signatures in various forms to fulfill their day-to-day activities, could you briefly also touch upon the legal framework that is supporting this specific factor of the digital signature platforms?
Of course, Malaysia. In past, there was no proper laws to address e-commerce or e-signatures. However, to fill in this gap, the ancestral model laws were brought in, which gave model law on electronic commerce and model law on electronic signatures, respectively in the years of 1996 and 2001.
Okay.
And most of the countries, based on these two model laws, drafted their own laws. Even Sri Lanka drafted its Electronic Transactions Act number 19 of 2006, which is also majorly based on the model laws we have. Ancestral has passed.
Right. Nice. So Lahiruni, could you also give us a briefing on what is these model laws are about?
Model law on e-commerce means, Malisha, it's not a binding law actually, which provides principles on transactions carried out on electronic means, the principles that governs these transactions, and it recognizes the concepts of data messages and what is meant by the requirement of writing in an electronic context, and signatures and storage, etc. The model on electronic signatures is introducing the principles in relation to e-signatures. What are the principles that govern e-signatures? And basically it tries to identify e-signatures in par with written signatures.
Oh, okay, nice. So that's very nice information, Lahiruni, that you just shared with us. So looking into these model laws, are they still under implementation, or is there any amendment that's been done to the laws and all of that?
Actually, Malisha, the relevant authorities recognize that there is no binding effect to these model laws introduced by UNCITRAL.
Oh, so that means there have been amendments that's been made.
Yes, exactly. And thereafter, this UN Convention on Electronic Communications was brought in the year 2007, and Sri Lanka has also, I must say that Sri Lanka is the first South Asian country to ratify this convention.
Oh, fascinating.
And
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we have done the Amendment Act to the Electronic Transactions Act, the Amendment Act number 25 of 2017.
Right.
And the Sri Lankan law is currently stable on this regards.
Oh, that's great. That's actually really nice information that you just shared with us. So, Lahiruni, so my final question with all this insight that you gave us is, what is your perspective as a lawyer when it comes to digital signature platforms?
E-signatures have basically made the tasks of a legal career actually easier, and I think now since the law is also being done, is being finalized and it's in place, it's just a matter of that legal practitioners go forward and making themselves familiarized with e-signatures and making their tasks easier with e-signatures and move forward.
So thank you so much, Lahiruni. That's really great information that you just shared with us, and thank you so much again for shedding light on this specific subject, because there's so many people out there who are still wondering about, are these digital signatures compliant and are these digital signatures legal? And of course, I think this episode and your responses, of course, had answered so many questions out there, so that now people can move forward and start using digital signatures with that confidence in mind. So thank you again, Lahiruni, for sharing your enlightening insights in this episode, and thank you so much for joining us in this episode of ours.
It's my pleasure, Malisha. I think our audience would have learned a lot on this subject now.
Definitely they would have. Thank you so much again. So now we have come to the final point in the episode of exploring our digital signature world, especially when it comes to their values, legality, and compliance. And thank you all for joining us in this episode. If you're just joining us, make sure to catch up us on the first episode of our webinar series, where we were talking about the evolution of signatures from traditional to digital. And if you're ready to embark on your digital signing journey with confidence, I'll suggest you to consider EviaSign as your trusted digital signing companion. If you want to learn more about EviaSign, you can always visit our website and see how EviaSign can make your digital signing processes much more simpler and easier. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes where we will be exploring more about digital signatures, their values, and of course EviaSign. And remember to keep signing smarter. Thank you.